I want to turn to Louis Anastoy, editor and publisher of the Kerr County Lead. Louis, you have been reporting on just the utter destruction in that area, an area I know you also call home. What more are people going through right now? What can you tell us?
Well, today's news is just terrible. I mean, we were kind of hoping yesterday there would be some kind of magical story that we could feel good about. And, you know, I myself kind of fell for that. And the reality was much starker. And that's what we're seeing today. And I think today is going to be an extremely difficult day for all of us here in Kerr County. The 27 girls, so many of them little girls, 8-year-old girls. And Anna, I'm a dad. I'm a girl dad. I'm a grandpa. I know the family of one of the girls that died. I'm struggling with it at this point now. And I have this knot in my stomach, journalistically, you know, like you want a good news story. And, you know, I've been in this business for 35 years now, and I've seen a lot of stuff in my career. I don't think I've ever prepared for this. And the idea that 27 girls and counselors who, Camp Mystic is beloved. It's revered. It's a storied place. It's one of the more beautiful places in Kerr County, and the whole county is beautiful. And that has been completely wiped away at this moment. I do want to speak to one of the things that I saw in your report about the warning systems and stuff in place. You know, I do it every day. I do a newsletter, and we were gearing up for this big, you know, Fourth on the River celebration. It's a really big deal here in Kerrville. It was the return of a local kind of legend to play the concert, Robert Earl Keen, who's a Texas legend. And he, when I went to bed about midnight, the warnings were flash flood watch, right? Might have some good rain. I didn't hear my phone. I didn't hear anything from the National Weather Service until 7 o'clock. And I was en route to Louise Hayes Park, where the damage was so extensive, unbelievable watching. And all I could see was the horizon in front of me was water. And then my phone went off with that first alert. So look, X, Twitter, that doesn't count to people here in Kerr County. You know, that doesn't count. Sure. The messages, those pinging numbers, as your reporter said, those were critical, and those didn't happen. But also at the same time, though, you know, nobody really expected something like this. You know, I think Lorena said it best at her place. We get these all the time, right? And a lot of times they go around us. They miss us completely, and we have been ground zero for the worst drought in the country for the last, 2 years. And we got more rain in 30 minutes than we've gotten basically almost in 2 years.
It's incredible. Yeah. You talked about being a father, and I know how painful this story, how it hits home in a deep way. My own daughter is about 9 years old, so the age of these campers, many of them who have now sadly lost their young lives. We've been hearing so many painful stories coming out of this storm, but there have also been stories of our shared humanity. Let's listen to one of them.
This is my parents' house. They're in their 80s. 11 o'clock at night, they started having the water rise and come into their house, so they were able to escape up the hill. And they got word of their neighbor being stuck in her attic, so they went over and rendered aid and got her out. She's 92 years old. Then they were able to reach their tool shed up higher ground, and neighbors throughout the early morning began to show up at their tool shed, and they all rode it out together.
It's one of those stories of survival, and I wanted you to also hear that, because I know how difficult it is to report on this kind of a story. But you're doing a public service for those people who you serve in that community, providing the information that they need to hear, trying to hold, officials accountable, trying to find out how to prevent something like this from happening again, where something went wrong. That's the job that you're doing right now. So keep up that great work.
Yeah.
As you look around, and for those who don't know that area as well as you do, I mean, you know the curvature, how would you describe the way the landscape there has now been transformed?
Well, if you can imagine, I've used this example several times. There's a place here in Louise Hayes Park where you cross a bridge, and it's called the Francisco Lemos Bridge. And it's named after a Mexican-American soldier who was killed in World War I. And it is absolutely a stunning piece of landscape. And I always think about, Central Park in New York as being, having those great scenes of beauty. This is like that. This is our Central Park, is this park. And part of it reminds me, quite frankly, of Disneyland. It's so picturesque, but it's real. It's not manicured. It's just naturally beautiful, huge cypress trees. The water gently runs through it. The Guadalupe River is green and clear, and just beautiful. That's all gone. Yesterday, I was watching a recovery effort on a park further down the system called Flat Rock Park. It's dammed up, and it's a reservoir. And to the left, I could see the park, and it was calm and serene. And then to my right, it was just, it looked like Mount St. Helens when it blew up and knocked all the trees down. That's what it looked like. That picture you just showed right there, that video, I want to speak. Can I speak to that for a second?
Please.
Of the dam?
Sure.
So that dam, this is Louise Hayes Park you're showing right now, but that dam you just showed, that's new to me. That's Nimitz Lake. That's where Kerrville's main water source, main surface water source comes from. Yeah. So to the left there, you can see that the dam has been damaged heavily. This dam is a replacement to one that failed several years ago. I can't remember the exact date and when the actually dam failed. So this dam is severely damaged now in the middle of it, looks like, and that's new to me. That shows you how much water has receded. So to the right is Guadalupe Street. To the left of your screen there is the water treatment plant for the city of Kerrville.
Okay.
That suffered some damage as well. But that water, that's what holds back Kerrville's #1 supply of drinking water. The lake is the impoundment area for that thing, and that's going to be that's a significant development as far as I'm concerned here right now.
Thank you for shining light on that. And that's obviously something we're going to have to watch closely in the days ahead as the real damage assessment is done. Louis Amestoy, thank you very much for your time. We really appreciate it.
I got one more thing for you to think about here.
Okay.
It's not necessarily the warning signs, but the question for the long term is going to be, FEMA approved a lot of these camps to be in the floodplains, it looks like. And a lot of these businesses are right on top of the floodplain. There'll have to be some serious discussions here at the state level and the national level about what do we do with this interface with these recreation facilities, urban areas that are prone to devastating flash floods, not just here in Texas, but across the country. So
sure, and especially with the climate crisis upon us and these types of monster storms getting worse and the amount of rain getting even more impactful, not just in Texas, but in other parts of the country too. You bring up important questions, again, for the days ahead for us to contemplate and for officials to consider in terms of the planning process. Thank you so much again, Louis, for joining us. Louis Amestoy.